this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. It's the end of summer, so we're going to do a little recap about some stuff going on around town, back to school.
Well, let's not rush the end of summer, Dave.
Well,
we're getting there, but
it's close, right? You know, we're within stone's throw of Labor Day, so there's some changes.
He's not too popular right now, is he?
No, I'm not. I'm bah humbug. Changes around town. Jasperson, we got some things that were happening at the old KDHS site, and sewage, all that and more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast.
Oh.
That Kingsville Podcast, again, proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery, and ChatGPT is just killing it with ad reads, so I'm going to do this one solo this week, Kev.
Awesome.
Yeah, so my ChatGPT prompt this week was I need a Kingsville Brewery script for a podcast with a 1920s campy movie theater promo style.
Ooh, I like it.
So it allows me to do a voice, too. Extra, read all about it. There's a new star lighting up the silver screen this summer. It's Kingsville's Pink Lemonade Cocktail. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and yes, you there in the funny hat. This ready-to-drink marvel is crisp, it's citrusy, it's downright zippy. Is that good? Is it working?
It works for me.
Forget the old lemonade stand. This one's got a grown-up twist. Pop the top and kapow! You're the main character of your own summer adventure. Kapow! Kapow! Serve it on the patio, at the beach, in the backyard with your Uncle Frank, who still thinks he can dance the Charleston. He can't, but you won't care after a couple of these. Cha-cha-cha. But hurry, folks, this cocktail is limited edition. Once it's gone, you'll be sadder than a silent movie villain twirling his mustache with no one to boo him. Shh. Don't delay. Step right up to KingsvilleBrewery.com to snag the Pink Lemonade Cocktail and discover their full cast of craft beers, lagers, IPAs, and more hits than a vaudeville show. Kingsville Brewery, making taste buds tap dance since, well, beer. Ka-ching, ka-chow.
That really was the bee's knees.
Kingsville Lemonade.
Yeah.
At your next box social.
Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. It's Dave, Kevin, and Steve again. Thanks for joining us. Gentlemen.
Hi.
Yeah, there was another great couple of weeks in between these episodes. A lot of summer, a lot of heat, a lot of outside and trying to cool off. Yeah.
A lot of cooking, a lot of roasting, a lot of basting.
That was just the people.
A lot of summer festivity and frivolity.
Yeah.
Baseball's coming to an end for you, Kevin.
One more game tomorrow. We're recording on Wednesday, and then so when this comes out, done ski. And Steve, you're gearing up for
Nothing.
Yeah, well, no, nothing, zero. No, it's one of those things. Like as you get older and the kids start kind of growing, either they're going to continue in sports and so or
there'll be a new swim season starting,
right? So plus it's gonna be back to school. We do have a week and a bit. Okay, we still have Labor Day weekend. There's still some summer left. Sorry, Steve, in the promo.
It's okay.
I get it.
No,
Sorry,
I get
Kevin.
It, but yeah, I mean, we've got Harrow Fair.
Ooh, yeah.
And County Road 20 has been repaved from what was it, McCain Side Road all the way to
the edge of what matters. The edge of what matters.
What matters? Yes, the edge of Kingsville, the town of Kingsville. Beyond that, Essex. Who cares?
That's black hole.
Who cares? This is not that Essex podcast.
Come on.
So it's not black hole. It's beautiful, but you know what we're saying. So what's your strategy when you get to this point? Like, do you have a way that you attack it? Like, do you think, I'm just going to ride it out. Then we go back to school, or do you start like I tend to like take note of all the things that I haven't done yet that I had originally intended to do, and then see if I can sort my time in a way that I'm able to fit them all in. Or have you had that planned and you're at the point where it doesn't matter. I've already done everything I wanted to do. So now let's just see Labor Day come.
I've got a week off next week. So there's a couple of things on the list that need to be done. I know that will get done. But we haven't done little things like kayaking and stuff like that. I want to get out and do that maybe at least once or twice.
What's on the list?
what do we have to do next week? Oh, just silly stuff like, we got to get a car serviced, and then we got just stuff that has to be done. But I'm off, so it goes.
Steve, garages are still open in September.
I know, but this is nice because I'm off and Tam's off, and we can just make a little road trip out of it.
All right.
Go get the car serviced, go for lunch, and then come home. That kind of thing, right? So
right.
You get a little date day out of it, but nothing major. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a bad summer at all. I mean, you had one away for 2 weeks. I had 2 away for 2 weeks on a European vacation. But personally, I didn't find that it was a fast summer this year.
The contrary for me.
Okay, so I thought, you know what, this has been good. There's been a lot of heat, which I don't mind. Even working outdoors in the heat, I don't mind it. But it hasn't, we were talking the other day, and Kellen graduated grade 8 in June, and it doesn't seem like it was yesterday. It does feel like 2 months ago.
Oh my God, to me,
I'm happy about that.
Yesterday feels like June, and tomorrow feels like October. Like, it's insane how fast to me it felt like it went.
Yeah, near this time of the year, I rage panic, if that's a word. I'm gonna trademark rage panic.
Rannick?
No, just rage panic, because like
that's too far.
Yeah, rannick is it could be misconstrued.
All right,
because now you've got a milestone where other things are going to begin and a routine starts, and I feel that if I've not gotten to certain things in the time frame that I originally budgeted for them, that I got to get them done before the end of the summer, or else it's not complete. And
oh no,
whoa,
oh no,
the first one,
yeah, boop. Thank you, sorry, but like, hey, I have to fight 10,000 other people who have procrastinated to the end of summer to get things done. So hardware store visits, right? Everybody's trying to finish up summer projects. Get back to school shopping for every child. Costco is absolutely a no-fly zone for the next 2 weeks because it will be inundated with everybody trying to, we gotta prepare for the school year, and then it's just generally a train wreck on any given day anyway.
Yeah.
So I get that anxiety of I've not done anything. However, I have, right? You don't acknowledge the things that you did back in June to accomplish the goals. It's just whatever's underlying, and I gotta get done, and oh my gosh. We still got to travel, or we still got to go see something, or we still got to be with somebody. And yeah, it gets a little nerve wracking.
Well, I think what's interesting is, when it was election time and everyone's like, oh, one of those guys is going to run, and they see us do the podcast and they think we kind of live out of each other's pockets. I don't think we've seen each other since the last episode.
No, we haven't.
And we rarely do see each other. And we try and make plans. Oh yeah, we'll all go for dinner. We'll bring the wives. We'll do this. We'll get the kids together, whatever. Does it happen? Maybe once, maybe at your annual bash, but even then it's tough to do. And that's kind of the good and bad about summer. You one of the things I like to try and do is plan to see people and see all kinds of different people at different points, but making your schedule fit with their schedule, even just to have, a couple of hours of social time, doesn't always pan out.
Yeah. And plus, we all have different schedules, right? I was traveling a little bit earlier this month. We took the kids to Ottawa. We thought, hey, let's
capitalize on that trip. Eh?
I think what you mean is you tagged some days onto the end of your Peterborough vacation.
Yes, Kevin. I tagged a couple of days. You know what? We took a direct flight up the 407 to Highway 7 to the 150, from 407 to the 115. Right to Peterborough, and we spent about a whole 12 hours in Peterborough on our way through to Ottawa.
It's probably enough.
It was enough. But yeah, we try to do as much as we can within reason and whatnot. We figured, let's take the kids to Ottawa. Let's show them the capital, right? And in today's current climate, a little bit of Canadian patriotism's not terrible. I would highly recommend it if anybody has who's listening who's decided to take the trip. Stay, do it. It's there's plenty to do. There's plenty to see. Parliament's a little bit under construction at the moment and under some scaffold for the next 2 decades. I think is the program timeline.
I think it started a decade ago.
It did start a decade ago, right? They did the West Block. Now they're on to Parliament Hill itself, and then they'll do the East Block. The Peace Tower you can see, but
what color's the roof?
Black, dark brown. It's dark copper.
So it's not green anymore.
No, because that's
They
weathered.
cleaned it.
Yeah, no, it's replaced. They replaced the cup.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, they made all those fundraising little Canadian flags. They stamped them out of the old copper. They were for sale a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Anyway.
I had no idea.
Yeah, hey, who's more Canadian?
Hey, more you know.
Apparently, Dave.
But yeah, you could tell summer travel in Ottawa. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tourists, hundreds of people out doing the same kind of thing, seeing, being, doing, because we only have 8-9 weeks of summer every year, and you try and pack in so much that sometimes you just can't get to everything. But Kingsville had another block party this past weekend, and apparently it was well received. Steve, you did a walkthrough. Special correspondent Steve
Here we go again.
Ianson with a live recount of this past.
I will say it's a great opportunity for youth of the town to gather in a safe, fun environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of kids out. My son was up there with some of his friends, and he bumped into other people that he knew, and I can't really speak for the overall event. I wasn't up there that long.
Did you ride the bull?
No.
You didn't ride the bull?
No.
Have you ever ridden a bull?
No.
Have you ridden the bull?
I feel like I'm walking into a trap if I say
I'm
yes.
not.
No,
No,
there's a
I've
mechanical
not-
bull there.
I've
that's,
not ridden a bull.
No.
you've never like a mechanical bull.
No.
Oh my god, you
At my
guys haven't
age-
lived.
At my age, come on. Like I'd
what do you
blow out a
mean?
hip.
Your knees have days to go anyway. You
They
might
do.
as well do them doing something fun like riding the bull.
I need him.
Minute.
Oh,
Oh, no, don't.
Oh,
That wasn't intentional.
But it
wasn't
was
intentional.
But it was recorded.
riding the bull is fun.
I'm sure it is.
Were they charging for it? I don't know if they were charging for it.
I don't know. I know
normally
you had to sign
pay
a
little
waiver
bit.
because I got a text from my son saying they have a mechanical bull, but I decided not to because you have to sign a waiver. I'm like, thank goodness, because if anything happens, I'm not
How does that
there.
happen? There's like, well, I
You
would
never. Well,
I never saw it. I would
yeah,
assume
but
that
sometimes
there's,
you
like,
think, you just if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to us or him or what. I don't know.
I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
One of the times I did it was on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. That one was crazy. They apparently can like ratchet it up so that I don't think ever it's close to what the real life deal is. But I'll tell you, when they put it on high, it feels pretty brutal. Like I think it lasted like maybe 3 seconds.
That's probably enough to walk away and still be able to walk away.
Yeah, I wanted more, but it's a blast. They're fun. They're a lot of fun, actually.
So all in all, I don't know. I can't say if it was a great turnout. I can't say if it was a poor turnout.
From what I've seen, it was again well received. I'll make the statement. I wasn't there, right? I can't specifically comment on that. However, from personal accounts, like our special correspondent Steve Ianson, who was live on the scene, and also others, smaller numbers than they'd seen before, but still good turnout.
But I will add to that downtown itself was quieter than the first night. Or the first block party.
Actually, and I can attest to that. We were out at a restaurant instead because it was my wife's birthday that night.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
And so a few of us were out for dinner, and there was like 2 other tables in the restaurant. There was an event upstairs that they had rented it out, and there was people up there. But in the actual restaurant itself, there was not that many tables. It looked like there was people milling about outside, but I don't know if it was generating the same amount of business that used to be generated from them. But a lot of times when they were doing open streets, the restaurants were packed and didn't really care if they had open streets at the time anyway. At the time, that's what they would say. Be like, okay, well, we're already packed. Like, we don't really need the extra people.
Yeah. And I have found over the years that the 2 sort of quietest times of the year in town are March break and the first couple of weeks of August.
Yeah.
It seems to be the most popular time for vacations.
Before we move on away from the summer topic, I do have a question for you guys. So I think we all were out of the region going up the 401 towards Toronto this summer at some point, like
Yes.
heading that way.
Yep.
Did you notice, and I bring it up because to me it was blatant, there was a significantly higher number of American vehicles on the road than I had seen in recent years. Like lots of Michigan, lots of Illinois, some Kentucky, like some of the states that obviously are known to travel, but seemed like the tourists were coming across the border, at least to me, a lot more than they had in recent years.
I didn't notice it as much going up there, but on the way back, yeah, I remember there was a Texas, Indiana, and maybe another one. So I did notice a few, but maybe not more than I would normally see during the summer months. I did, however, see, and I assume they were rental cars, but there was 2 large SUVs in town the other day. One had a California plate, and I believe one had a Missouri plate. And they appeared to be traveling together. One pulled in, and then the other pulled in behind it. So that was nice to see because, I couldn't tell you where they were from exactly. They could be from California or Missouri or some entirely other state.
Or
just
rentals.
with rental car. Yes, right? Because I know when my brother-in-law and his family have come, they got a rental car. It shows up, it's got a Missouri plate or a Virginia plate or something from wherever. But that was good to see. So beyond the 401, they've been in, we've had a lot of American visitors, I think, locally too.
It'd be interesting to see the stats this year when they start breaking down like the number of people who crossed and where they're from and all those sorts of things.
Well, it was reported earlier this year that the decline in Canadian to the United States tourism day trips over the border has decreased about 5%, if I remember correctly. But the U.S. to Canada hadn't declined in a similar kind of relationship. It had stayed fairly equal. So, I think some Americans are understanding that there's still advantages to come to Canada, and we're not trying to penalize anybody for, coming over. And they also do use the 401 as a corridor to get up to upstate New York really quickly instead of driving around the Great Lakes.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. You're right.
So, hopefully they stayed. And if not, they went to an en route and bought a can of beer and kept on driving down the 401 because you know what you need. 3-digit speeds and beer.
Hey, when your roadie runs out, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, the driving across the bridge every day for work, there's a lot of out of state, not Ohio, New York, Michigan plates that I've seen recently. There are quite a few of other states being represented. So maybe it's just I have a lot of time to sit there and wait for traffic to clear and I'm paying a little bit more attention. But I would say that it there is a bit of an increase. So
I wasn't intending to go here, but I wonder if it's almost a case of, any publicity is good publicity, and they've been talking about us a lot in the States.
You know what? Probably. They're like, we should probably go before we can't anymore. So.
Or it's just, this Canada. Sounds interesting.
I hear they have great fries and gravy and milk in bags.
And podcasts.
Well, you know what?
They have the best.
I was spreading the prowess of that Kingsville podcast throughout the United States, and we do have a couple of listeners, as the statistics show on the YouTube and the Google.
They're bots.
Yeah, there's a couple.
They're definitely bots.
Yes, we're buying views, right?
Yeah.
We're buying clicks.
It's a VPN routing from Russia.
Yeah. All right, so we're talking about things happening around town. So we had there were some things at the old KDHS property. Apparently, there was some mold growing in that facility that had to be remediated and caused quite a kerfuffle around town. So for those that were looking at the KDHS property, there were some barriers and some dumpsters that were placed out there. So. Yeah, there's plenty on social media about it. It's an old building. They probably shut down the HVAC thinking that it wasn't going to be a problem. But hey, guess what? Old buildings are leaky, and hot, humid temperatures sustained over the course of 2 months will have a wonderful effect about growing mold spores. So,
well, I mean, you can look at it from a financial standpoint and say, yeah, it was smart to shut down the HVAC. But then does it become an insurance write-off? when something happens? Or do you lose the insurance right off because you shut off the HVAC?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, the whole thing's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not at the point where I'm over everything that's happened between,
some stuff.
Right.
Some stuff.
But at the same time, I'm also thinking, you know what? It's done. And if there was memorabilia and stuff left in the building, shame on whoever left it there, but it's done.
Yeah. If it wasn't moved and relocated, it wasn't determined to be significant enough.
Well, that's how I try and think of it. And really, if there was some stuff lost,
I have memorabilia.
Who's directly impacted in a way, right? If you don't know what was there, it's but it is certainly concerning when you see people coming out in hazmat suits and you wonder what's gone on in that building.
Yeah. Is it Breaking Bad in the old high school?
Well, and it becomes like you can't just remediate mold without removing drywall, which is asbestos. So then you begin remediating asbestos at the same time as remediating mold. Like, it's an old building with lots of issues. And when you start digging into something like that, I bet you they wish they left that HVAC on.
Well, but you know what? I said to my wife the other day, I'm at the point where too is I need them to be sold and demoed. Like, move on. We have to move on, and just I don't want to look at it anymore.
Well, yeah, and
and I don't mean to sound harsh or whatever, but
I think our hopes are that the board will liquidate them soon, like deem them surplus,
right,
and not hang on to them for an extended period of time, like Leamington District High School's former location, Harrow High School, and various other properties around the county.
Well, if anything, and I'm a Catholic school tax supporter. I'm not a public board tax supporter, so it's perfect. It's not my money. So if they want to blow your money, that's fine. But that's what I think what would upset me the most is that board is just like blowing money because they allowed this to happen. A board that is running a significant deficit,
right,
and their financial issues have almost gotten them a supervisor. So now you just compound this on top of it's avoidable expense.
I agree, but I look at it and say, what do you expect? Nothing should come as a surprise. Like if at the end of the day they're on the hook for, even if it's just the deductible on an insurance, right? Nothing surprises me. Any decisions, good or bad, but certainly controversial, nothing surprises me. It's just like, oh yeah, well that's our board.
The moment they say that we need a roadside sign and you have to fundraise for it, you're like, well, maybe you shouldn't have turned the HVAC system off.
Well, they're going to fundraise that anyway, and then, they'll poo-poo something about it or misappropriate some fundraising efforts and it not go to whatever it should go to, right? Like, it never goes to the things that it should go
but
to.
But who's going to want to fundraise when the message in the community or what people are saying is that, oh yeah, we had money proposed to us, but they were told that, yeah, we'll take your money, but...
And then we'll use it to abate mold at the...
So that's just it. Nobody's going to want to fundraise for something that they can't trust where the money's going. So...
Yeah, they got a lot of damage control to do. And that's, been shown. But talking about schools and something we've discussed at length on the podcast in previous episodes, changes on Jasperson. And special correspondent Kevin Black with his report on Jasperson Avenue's changes.
Jasperson. So, okay, as you drive by, let's go back to the beginning. Can we?
Well, Lieutenant Fred K. Jasperson was a war veteran who not that big.
He had two daughters. Yep. And they needed houses, and one of them's at
183,
and they're across the road from the high school. So the so on Jasperson, when if ever, in case people don't remember the last time that they were on Jasperson, there was a pedestrian crossing at the elementary entrance to Jasperson.
Correct.
And then about a year ago, we were like, hey, there's no crossing guard plan for the new school and it's about to open. That seems bad. So then the council decided, after there had been outcry apparently from the community, that they would install, they would put crossing guards in place. So the crossing guards went in place.
Fantastic.
But then, and we discussed it at length, numerous episodes, and I wrote scathing emails, and there was
Scathing.
And
That's a great word.
Because if anyone who drove down that road during a time when the kids were walking to school, they would see that none of the kids were crossing at the place where the pedestrian crossing was put, and all of the kids were crossing at the intersection because, of course, that's where kids cross, at the intersection where it's easier. They're not going to walk an extra 200 feet and then cross at a pedestrian crossing, where you think that you're going to force them to cross.
Well, adults don't do that, especially when it's cold and rainy. You see them in town all the time. There's plenty of crosswalks. And
Right.
So
You can't tell me what to do.
So then it was proposed, and I can't remember. I don't believe this was during budget, or it may have been during budget, that the town take the lights that are now unnecessary at the old high school, so on Main Street,
yeah, just by Santos,
and relocate them where the pedestrian crossing is. So put the traffic signal lights up there, because that will get vehicles to stop more than the blinking lights on the pedestrian crossing. But then we had brought up, and I don't want to say it was just us. I'm sure there was lots of information going to counselors regarding this, and we had broken down on one episode the actual intersection design guidelines or schedules that the province puts together when they're deciding whether or not a traffic signal is required. And our very non-professional, non-registered, very layman review of those found that it seemed that crossing checked a lot of the boxes. So then during budget, they decided to use money that had been set aside for signal light, redevelopment and engineering, use that to hire an engineer to look at that intersection. So then the engineer presented their report. So they obviously picked the extremely busy time of December to see how many kids were crossing at that crossing. But even in December found that it closely matched a requirement for having signalized traffic lights there. Now, imagine if it had been in spring or fall when the students are actually walking to school and not in December, it would have likely far exceeded those requirements. So then council decided, okay, well, the traffic engineer says we probably need it there, so we're going to install traffic lights there. Well, they never changed their recommendation for the pedestrian crossing. So right now, they're installing signalized traffic lights at the intersection of Woody Crest and Jasperson, as well as traffic lights at the pedestrian crossing. So we're going to go from having only a flashing light at the pedestrian crossing to now having two sets of traffic signal lights at both ends of the parking lot.
And I'm okay with it. In a lot of ways. I have some reservations about one aspect, but why I'm okay with it is because the crossing light at the elementary entrance is only triggered by the button. It's not a traffic one.
Right.
And as you noted, it is a lot more visible than just the signs. And they still had a crossing guard there. And I would like to hope, and you could say there isn't a need, but I will tell you there will still be a need for a crossing guard at that intersection. For the younger kids.
Shirk Street is a perfect example. If you drive on Shirk in the morning, there is an exact setup like this, and there's a crossing guard there.
Fantastic. The other part of it too is that you could say, well, there's going to be cars. They're going to get stuck between the first light and the second light. Well, and they may, but only for a short time of day, because when the high school lets out at 2:15, the elementary school still has another hour and 15 minutes to go. And in the morning, it's a little bit more hectic because, the elementary school starts band practice at 8 a.m. And, same time the high school kids are the late arrivals, if you will. They're still on time, but later arrivals are showing up. So there could be a little bit of congestion, but that's okay too, because the traffic sometimes, as you've noted several times, goes way too fast.
Yeah.
And if this will slow down traffic, and the OPP have been quite vigilant as far as policing it and being out there and having a presence, but if this will slow traffic down overall on the street, great. My one concern simply is I do feel for the residents on Woody Crest, because if that's on red, at certain times of day, they're going to be backed up. They're going to be backed up 5, 6, 7 cars deep. And
I would much rather that than the taking your life into your own hands to make a left turn onto Jasperson.
I agree. All I'm saying is that when these people bought those properties and paid for those properties, they did not know this was going to be the case.
Sure.
And I'm sure, and I'm not going to speak for them. I'm not going to say they're all going to be up in arms, and I'm not going to say they're all going to be thrilled about it. You like to think, yeah, I understand it's a short time during the day, but there are very few locations in communities where you have a traffic light that is going to be right there at a residential area. I mean, if you look at even the one at Remark and Main, every corner of that, there's either a parking lot or a business before you get to residential. There are homes right on the corner of Woody Crest that are going to be, impacted by the lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beyond traffic.
Yeah, but I think that the other issue that happens is that because Jasperson has a nonstop right-of-way, then it almost becomes impossible to make that turn at a Woody Crest, where now at least that car on Woody Crest is going to get some priority in that turn, right? For my kid's bus stop, I have to come up to that corner if I drop them off, right?
Right.
And so if you're sitting at that intersection, and Jasperson's getting busier, so as cars are coming down Jasperson, well, then you're just stuck there. There's no timer for you to be able to get out and turn. You're just waiting until there's no one else, and then you get to go. This way, at least then you'll have the opportunity to trigger that light to then make a turn.
Right. And it is going to be interesting because if you're attempting a left-hand turn from Woody Crest onto Jasperson at a time when the school's letting out, you're going to be basically going one car per light, because you're going to have a lot of cars coming out. They're going to be going straight, they're going to be going left, they're going to be going right, and they're going to be basically making that congestion. I am interested to see, I think the good will outweigh the bad, but I am going to be interested to see those first few days where it's operating and the school lets out. Right?
Overall, though, it's a better arrangement for children's safety. So,
yes.
Traffic aside, if that's what we have to contend with, but the chances of injury are very significantly reduced.
Yeah.
So be it.
And similarly, I would like to see I hope the crossing guard is still at Woody Crest and Jasperson, just like they have them at Spruce and Main.
Have to be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, have to. So, other things significant around town. Everybody's apparently just finding out that Wendy's is going into town, right?
That's we've been talking about that for 2 years.
Yeah,
at least a year.
At least a year. So it was when they put the signage up after they'd torn down the building that was on that property. Wendy's is coming to town. Everybody, oh my God, Wendy's! They need a Wendy's. Like, whatever. We got a Dairy Queen. We have a McDonald's. We have a Taco Bell. Like, Kingsville is building enough of a population that's justifying franchisees to locate here. I don't know what to tell you. If you think that that's the most significant development that's happening in town, pay a little bit of attention to what's happening and what building approvals are going through town hall. Like, there's a lot more coming where that came from. So
I hope they have the capacity.
Oh, speaking of capacity, Steve, that is a great segue. Does everybody remember 2 years ago in August 2023 when in less than 36 hours we got about 215 millimeters of rain? I do. My basement flooded.
What's that in real measurements?
25.4 millimeters per inch. So 10 inches.
10 inches.
Ish.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of rain. I know. And I had some in my basement. It was great.
No,
it wasn't. Remember that time when everybody's water sump pump backups drained the water tower?
Yeah, we got lucky.
Hooray! We fared fairly well compared to the folks that live in Ruthven. And it was found that over 50 houses were accidentally tied into the sanitary sewage into the
storm.
Improperly tied into the sanitary sewer system rather than the storm sewer system, which caused enormous backups in Ruthven.
It's still bizarre to me because 20 years ago the town started the sewer separation project.
Correct. I think
You'd think they wouldn't.
Anyway, it was an issue. So it created a bit of a focus on what was happening out in Ruthven and what was happening with greenhouses that were populating water into the wastewater system and what was happening with all of the capacity. And it turns out over the last little while, the town of Kingsville has done a little bit of, task forcing research. It's on haveyoursaykingsville.ca. I suggest everybody who's listening pay attention because there's a lot of things that are going to have tax implications with us. So you might want to visit the website, haveyoursaykingsville.ca/Ruthven sanitary sewer and treatment plant issues. But yeah, the greenhouses are amounting to about 76% of the volume that's pumped into the sanitary sewers. So there was some recent litigation. Town received notification of legal proceeding initiated by the Ontario Greenhouse and Vegetable Growers related to Greenhouse Sanitary Sewer Bylaw, which the town implemented in order to help meter the amount that was put into the system. So it's a hot button topic, and it's gonna have a lot of lasting impacts for decades. Because the matter is, how do we handle this? We know that they're corporate partners in our community. They have needs as well. How do we coexist? How do we manage who has the obligations? Where's the limitations? Ultimately, it's going to fall on taxpayer, right? Like the town just doesn't have this giant pot of money to be able to go, yay, perfect. And we know that the greenhouses exist along with all of the citizens and neighborhoods and communities. The question is how do we handle it and at what cost? Like, how do we increase taxes for greenhouse growers in order to offset their amount of usage based upon the rest of the town folk and private domiciles? How do they add the extra revenue in order to improve the sanitary sewer system?
So my first question would be, and I do think that we're talking about two completely different issues here. Because first section of it is the houses, their sump pumps were improperly tied into storm sewers. So storm sewers take in water from the drains or into the roads. And then our sump pumps typically are tied into storm sewers. I haven't, and 50 homes. So first of all,
over 50.
Have you seen widespread construction in the Ruthven area to alleviate that problem?
Well, there was a pause on development because of these issues that they didn't want any future development happening to add to the problem, right?
Right. So I do think that there's a requirement first to fix that.
Of course.
But then you get into capacity questions, right? And so I don't think, and I'm not, this would be a great question for someone. how does sewage capacity impact a person who whose home is tied into the storm sewers improperly? Like I think it's two different issues. Not saying that neither one isn't important, but I think capacity issues is different than the fact that homes are built improperly. Mm-hmm. So if you take the homes built improperly portion out of it and say, okay, well, let's just say the Ruthven sewage system and the force main has capacity issues. Well, then that sure sounds a lot like a building department and engineering department issue. Because how have you allowed it to get to that point where you're approving development, residential development, based on a capacity that you installed? It's not like that system is old. It's new. Like it's 15, 20 years old? That line down the Greenway.
Oh yeah, not maybe 20 years at most.
So it's not like there's still people in this town who helped install it, and some of them potentially still work for the sewage department. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So how did it happen where the capacity issues were allowed to get to this point, and who was responsible for making sure that this didn't happen? Because greenhouse approvals happen all the time. Mm-hmm. Like Boneberry was just approved for 75 acres of greenhouse development. There's all the new development that was recently approved and built along Graham Side Road.
Mm-hmm. Road 3. Like there's all of these greenhouses that are relatively new approvals that would have had to provide stormwater management plans. Mm-hmm.
And then how are we able to get to this point? So then it becomes, all right. And the way I see it anyway. So then if all of that being said, and none of this is good, but you have a town who says, well, greenhouses are taking up 76% of the capacity, they should have to pay more. And greenhouses who say, the town approved what we do, they approved our engineering and our stormwater management plans as part of our approvals, why should we have to pay more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, we're not the news. We are not an authority. This is just some guys sitting talking.
And very much suggest that you go to haveyoursaykIngsville.ca, read the site, read the reports, and come to your own conclusions, and not just trust things that we're telling you.
Yeah, and provide exactly. And then if
nobody's going to do that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they might use Steve. So to be careful on what you say.
Yeah, you are an authority. No. You just play one on
be
TV.
Silly.
Yeah. Yeah, they please, if you've heard it from us or you weren't aware of the ongoing discussion online, participate. We've been an advocate for this. It's the way that the town is receiving input from the public. If you do not speak up and you just use Facebook, that is not the way to communicate with the town of Kingsville. It is with their and our taxpayer-funded website, haveyoursaykIngsville.ca. So,
well, and to that point, if you have feelings that are strong on the issue, posting them to social media is exactly the cop-out that someone at the municipality would be able to use to say, well, you didn't submit it through the proper channel.
Correct. And they've used that.
Right.
They've used that.
And so, again, good to them, because you can't have every means of a place that someone's able to post information as being a place that they officially receive information.
Right. And who at the town has time to go on every social media site to pick through it, say, oh, wait, you posted it on this. Yeah. Oh, it's on Reddit. Oh, no, didn't read it.
So if you've written what you think is the greatest social media post on this of all time, copy it, paste it into an email, and send it to the town.
Yeah, or use the Have Your Say discussion forum and post it there. And sometimes it isn't going to go your way, but you've utilized the official channel that they want that dialogue and that feedback. Go to it routinely. They post lots of stuff on it, lots of issues and lots of concerns about, hey, should our taxpayer dollars go toward more tourism initiatives? What else was on there? What should we do with the school properties?
Yeah, and I mean we've questioned some of the decisions of the town, much to the chagrin of some people there, but this is a great opportunity and a great thing that the town does to connect with residents. So yeah, please use it, take advantage of it.
Yeah, and back to this, and you're right, Steve. Like the town did, and I can't remember if we talked about it on the air or before we started recording, but the town had an entire sewer separation program that happened years ago, and so the fact that this is an issue is wild, because that was a point of pride for this municipality.
Well, it was, and it was. I remember actually. I don't know if it was when Nelson was first deputy mayor, Nelson Sandoz, or when he became mayor, that the program really started taking off, because especially in the older parts of Kingsville, so like, Spruce, Pearl, Mill, and that area. And a lot of money had to be put in and to separate the storm from the sanitary. And you're right, source of pride is the best way to put it, because they invested the money, and it created, it sent the discharge where it needed to go, cleaned up the water, and it was a fantastic project. So to hear 20 years on that something like this happened that didn't go as it's supposed to is it's somewhat baffling.
Alarming, right? Alarming that the investment wasn't monitored on a sufficient enough basis to maintain its longevity.
And maybe it had nothing to do with that. Maybe there was just something, right? Here we are speculating, but
again, not
could have been something entirely different to
someone messed up.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
Or as a function of the way that the understanding was that it was utilized, there wasn't conceptually thought that we would ever reach this amount. And when we're not collecting the information on a regular basis, it can get away on you, right? Like if you're not cumulatively, like a tote board, like fundraising, the thermometer, and woo! If we're not measuring at every approval what their output is, much like draining a water tower, if we don't understand how many people are drawing of it on it in an emergency situation, we won't find its limitations until it's too late.
But I do remember when they put the new construction in and the new line, that they knew what the capacity was, and they had the projections, they had everything ironed out. So either some things were built that they weren't anticipating and something got lost, or maybe the projections were wrong. I don't know. But it's still, the other part of it is that they're at capacity, which is sort of mind-blowing, because the plan was that they could develop almost the entire Ruthven area that was slated for development between Union and 34,
including a planned industrial park that's underway now.
Half populated, right?
Yeah,
into phase 2 now.
Yeah,
so off Road 3.
Off Road 3.
Yeah. So
it's I was about to say something. I lost it.
Train kept it rolling.
So we're at that stage in our lives.
It was going to be so smart.
Did you take your vitamins?
No, I forgot today.
All right.
Oh, man.
5, 4, 3, 2.
No, it's gone.
And moving on. So, here we go. Now we'll get back into the political season, right? Summer, everybody kind of takes a little bit of a break.
Yeah, summer here, summer there.
Thank you, Gary, for participating and making sure we've...
It's a bit of a delay on that one.
It's okay. Listen, it didn't. I blame the board.
Oh, the one thing I do before, and this wasn't it, it's gone, but this is one thing. Because I did see some confusion online around Union Water and its responsibilities in what's happening in Ruthven. And I do think it's and we talked about this before. And so when I was reporting, I would always make sure that I would never report a Union Water story at the same time that I would talk about something that's related to sewers. Because you don't want to mix the two. No one wants them mixed. You want your water away from sewers.
No, yeah.
But also because in the city, N1 handles both. But in the county, it's different. Union Water is the water treatment corporation that makes sure that there's water in the lines that comes to us. And so they are responsible for running the water treatment plant, and in Ruthven. And then they're responsible for maintaining the large trunk water mains that go into the municipalities. That's the end of their responsibility. The town pays Union Water a bulk water fee that is calculated based on volumes from that is consumed in the town. And then there's also a maintenance fee that's built into that bulk water fee. And then the town maintains all of the mains that comes off of the trunk main. So if you drive by the water treatment plant right now, you can kind of see it behind like the Circle K. There's work happening there, and there will be work happening going down Seacliff on the trunk water main. That's Union Water. Sewage treatment, sewage capacity, storm sewers, neighborhood water mains, that is all town of Kingsville. So the sewage treatment plant that's down off of Heritage, that's the town of Kingsville, not Union Water. And Union Water is owned by Kingsville and Leamington and Essex and Lakeshore.
Yes.
And all of them, counselors from all of those municipalities sit on the board of Union Water. And then Union Water has its own staff. So if a trunk main breaks, Union Water staff respond. If a water main breaks that's off the trunk, then town of Kingsville responds.
I know they were going to change the makeup of the board. I don't know if it's quite what it was.
Oh,
like
really?
The board of management, yes. Because it used to be weighted on use. I know Leamington had, I think, 5 representatives or 6, I believe. Kingsville had 4, Essex had 1, Lakeshore had 1, based on the amount of water they received from the plant. And then Hines, what was Hines, had their special representatives at the time. But I want to say I know it was under discussion, a new type of framework for the governance of Union Water. So it may have changed since we were there.
I think it has. Yeah. I think it has. I think that was a year ago that they'd done that.
Regardless, it's still how it's
no, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And I made the mistake. I made the misconception because it's not anything that's publicly discussed, right? Like you think about water and sewage and bad water gets made good water at Union and you think it's the same organization, but it's not.
Right. Well, and it's similar, like garbage collection's another great one, right? Essex Windsor Solid Waste Authority is the group that manages the contracts of garbage collection, which is an arm of the county and the city. And then like they have their own governance, and then each municipality has a rate that determines what that collection looks like. So the town has the collection. Essex Windsor Solid Waste Authority manages the landfill and then helps manage those collection. I think they handle the recycling collection contract.
Right, which then got reassigned to different contractors, and you see different
and now
trucks.
Food waste too.
And now
in some municipalities, yes, it has. They've rolled it out, and I know they rolled it out in Essex because all the green bins were delivered last week.
Yeah, and coming from Ottawa, where that's been something that's been there for quite some time. I know let's go full circle about Dave's road trip. Ottawa has 4 bin colors: recycling, garbage, like refuse, and then food waste. So every house has 4 recycle bins. It's crazy, but if that's the separation and that's what we're doing, it does come at a cost, and that management of the waste authority. So where was I before we got back on that? Oh yeah, wrapping up the show. So another riveting episode of that Kingsville podcast.
Talking garbage, poo, and
mold.
This one was a little watered down, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna don't know that one.
No,
it's the end of the episode. Nobody's paying attention. Anyway, thank you for listening.
It's almost time for migration. Anyway,
it is. I remember Dave Downer earlier in the episode, ending summer prematurely.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we've got late October heat and everyone's pools can stay open until Thanksgiving, and then fine. so be it, is what it is.
Winter is coming.
All right. Well, thanks. Like, subscribe, go to kingsvillebrewery.com, buy some pink lemonade while they still got it, if that's what you're into. They got beer and stuff there. Thank you, Gary, for production and whatnot. We'll see you all next time.